it raw, I'm serving it raw, I'm serving it raw. I'm serving it raw.
I'm born this way. So as old as hip hop is, I am. So I saw that evolution from a Southern perspective. So for me, I have to break it down for you like this. And it's, for each coast and state and, that matter, talking to 50 states, it's hip hop all over the world before it's the greats and the guys that inspire me to do what I do to this day, going back to New York being the origin. I have to go to the 70s and the Gemini theory kind of way. Maybe I could give it to you two at a time. You ever played LA Live? I mean, NBA Live back in the days.
Yeah.
You look at basketball when Wilt Chamberlain first was in, and the shorts was up to your hips. And later on that changed. You can't. Yeah. That's a different dynamic, my brother. You see what I'm saying? So you say the 80s, I say the 70s. Okay. When you're looking at hip hop, 78, 79. I'm a 4 or 5 year old kid. You know what I mean? And you got Busy B, the Curtis Blow, you know what I mean? Eventually to the Sugar Hill Gang coming out 79 into the 80s. So I do this for you. If I could do solo MCs in a Gemini way. So come my 2 as 1 for the 70s. It's like Busy B and Curtis Blow for me. You see what I'm saying? We get to the 80s. It's all but a trilogy. And it's hard to do this, man, because a lot of these guys, I still listen to those records now. But Rakim, you always hear in all my interviews, always been my favorite rapper of all time, just because he stuck to the script since 86 when he come in, and still to this day as a guard MC and a true 5%er. But LL, Daddy Kane, right in that origin, but Rakim being the pivot for the 80s for me. Okay. We get into the 90s, coming out the 80s into the 90s, I would have to say guys like the DOC, then Tupac and Scarface. You understand? Other than what happened with the DOC, we don't know where the stage of hip hop would be if he wouldn't lost his voice. He was like Jimi Hendrix on vocals to me. You know what I mean? For us, and that before we knew he was even from the South and being biased toward, you know what I mean, to the game. But that's my 90s into the 2000s. I would say from the soil, Lil Webby, you know what I mean, and boosting them in that range. And up to date, man. My favorite now, as well as I'm sure America's favorite, is Kendrick Lamar. Yes, you know, and right before Kendrick, Nipsey Hussle. You see what I'm saying? That I saw carry this torch and keep it going. That's authentic with the game. I stick not to the gangster shit and who the hardest, but who keeping it real for his life and spirituality, mentality, and mentality for that matter, man. All the way up and down. Anybody can put on a clown suit and tap dance and do this, that, and the other. But where are you in real life? If you ain't living it, don't get on that microphone. I don't want to hear the bullshit, man. Yes, know what you're talking about. And Future on the in-between coming into these 2000s. Guys that came with something new to the game. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Versus everybody sounding alike. You know what I mean? That part of it. I dig a lot of new records, and this, I'm the bridge between that gap. Like I said, a young that bleed for this young generation. I still keep a young on my name, and I tell all the youngsters that to relate that old and new. I try to be the bridge between that gap. I'm a baby to the game till I became OG. So I don't, if you don't know where you at, where you come from, you don't know where you at to know where you going. It's always in that trilogy for me. So it's hard to put it in a nutshell. But if I could sum it up like that, that's basically as I can give it to you.
Okay. No, shit, that's 100. Now I'm glad you brought up the name when you said you still leave Young on there. But yeah, how did you come up with Bleed? Because if Tank was your nickname when you was a kid, where did Bleed come from?
I got it from the original Bleed. My granddaddy name was Good Bleed. So before in his time of passing, I was able to have one of them walks and talks with my papa on the porch. And we used to watch cartoons, Scooby-Doo, so on and so forth. But Richie Rich was one of my favorite cartoons. So I had to say, Papa, when I grow up, I'm going to be rich. But how I'm going to get that? My granddaddy was the type of man to say, man, if you borrow money from somebody, pay him back double. You see what I'm saying? He went blind halfway through his life. It looked like I knew him 100 years. But from 74 to 84, 85, I lost my grandfather. But he laced me best as he could he didn't talk that war shit to me. You see what I'm saying? He kept over South Baton Rouge with his family. So when I thought about it, like I said, I went through a plethora of names from 8, 9 years old, finding myself as an artist and as an MC. And when I thought back to it right before I changed my name from G-Loc to C-Loc, I mean, from, you know what I'm saying, you know, mentioning that earlier, but from G-Loc to Young Bleed.
Yeah.
I say this time is for the money, and this one gonna be once I get into the industry, it's forever. You know what I mean? And once I signed my deal with C-Loc Records, I had names before that. But saying to say this, what mean the most to me? And there was the talk I had with Granddad one day that said, one day I'm gonna grow up and be a rapper and I'm gonna own a record company. He said, you're gonna be able to do it. You can do anything you wanna do. But the first thing you're gonna have to learn to do is listen. And he went blind, so I didn't understand what he meant at the time. But after a while, his ears became his life because he couldn't see where he was going. I was his CNI dog. You see what I'm saying? So chip off the old block. You see what I'm saying? From Granddaddy to me. My granddaddy's name was James Donald Goodbleed Johnson Sr. And the guys in the street will tell you he was good to bleed you with these from the shoulders. I used to box in the front yard. He was my Costamado. You see what I'm saying? So he left me with these and these.
Already.
Yeah, I mean,
now, speaking of starting your own label, because you told your granddaddy that you was going to start your own label, and that actually brings me to my next topic, is you found your own label, Trapdoor Entertainment.
Absolutely.
And I want to know how is finding Trapdoor Entertainment change your creative freedom and opportunities in the music industry now?